going over my morning mobility routine, so let's get after it. So I'm going to start with the spine, then I'm going to move to the shoulders and the hips, then the ankles, probably get the knee stuff in there, and let's just kind of do it all free flow. So first, I start with the neck. I tuck my chin here, around my shoulders. I'm thinking making my spine a question mark, one vertebrae at a time. All the way down. All the way back up. I'm going to repeat this process. Show you from one more different angle. So that was just spinal, what we call flexion and extension. I'm now going to add some rotation. So similar movement, but once again with a rotational component. So I'm forward folding, question marking in the spine, down, rotate away. I'm not trying to shift at the hips. Rotate slightly away, crunching my shoulder to my hip on the opposite side. Slowly come up, rinse and repeat the process. Once again, guys, mobilizing the spine, making sure we're not stiff and stuck for our day. I'm going to keep flowing with it. Chin to chest, rounding at the spine, one vertebrae at a time, question marking my back. Then we're dropping my shoulders in my pocket to start this part of the movement. Boom, just tackle the spine, moving on to the shoulders. You can find some place to grab onto if you want to stop yourself from moving a lot. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start here. Bring my shoulders up and around. I'm going to face there. This way so I don't hit the fan anymore. So it's here. You can even put your arm on top of your trap to make sure it doesn't activate as heavily as most people do with overactive traps. If you do find yourself having higher activation here, you can bring your arm away from your head. So if this is towards my head, this is away from my head, you should have less activation through this muscle here. You may hear some crickle crackle pops while you do this mobility routine. That is okay. And to be expected. And moving over slightly again. Boom. I'll go through the shoulders again. I'm not done. Boom. All right, next we get the hips. Grab onto this bounce. So, crushing this into the ground, you can always grab on something sturdier than I am currently. You're going to, as you lift the knee up, you want to imagine the hip dropping. So knee up, hip dropping and scooping underneath here. Come out, rotate over, down. Keep this extended, keep this engaged as well. Come out, rotate, down. Side. What we're doing here is working on all ranges of the hip. So no matter what you're doing today, your hips going to have the proper working capacity to be able to assist you. How I like to start the movement, initiate it. Once again, it's the knee up, the hip drops underneath you, boom. Then you send the knee outwards. Here, you're gonna get to a roadblock where you can't go out anymore. That's okay. That initiates you to turn it over here and come down. Now, tight with hamstring and glute again. Come out. Here, turn over and down. Other side. Slightly different angle. Knee comes up, hip comes tucked underneath. Boom. Out, roadblock. Turn it over. Down. Glute ham a little tighter on this side on the way up. Boom, boom, boom. All right, that's how we tackle. We just tackled spine, hips, shoulders. Move on to some ankles. So move on to ankles next. I like to tackle the ankles and simultaneously lengthen out my hamstring. So my foot's in the air like this. I'm holding on to it. You might feel some stretching in the hamstring or in the calf. I don't want any stretching behind the knee. If you're stretching behind the knee, bend the knee or lower it. But I don't need to, so I'm here. I'm laying down. I'm gonna start by pulling my toes towards to me, and I'm going to turn the palm of my foot to the left, rotate, that was a pop, and make a complete circle, and then I go back the other way. I'm mimicking the motion with my hand just so you can see it. Boom. And then of course we switch ankles. Slow rotations, guys. Control is the name of the game here. Those ankles. Let's wrap up with some knee work. So as you can see, this is my shin bone here, right? This is my shin. Closer. This is my shin bone. The point of it is right there. If you notice, if I do this, my whole shin bone just moves. My hip didn't move, so my hip's right here. See how the shin is moving? So you can see this side of my shin, now you can't. Now you see this side of my shin, now you can't. Versus moving my ankle, which is this, my shin bone didn't move. So I'm here, and I'll pull my toes towards me like this. I'm going to take my heel, I'm going to drive it into the ground, activating the muscles in my hamstring here. Then I'm trying to point my shin bone that way, and then the other way. So this is called tibial rotation. Your tibia needs to be able to rotate to perform properly. The knee normally is a hinge joint, open and close, but it's important for it to have a little bit of rotational capacity to perform both athletic and everyday movements. The lack of it equals knee pain when during simple stuff and sometimes, more advanced stuff. Here. Boom, switch sides. Always trying to pull the heel towards you on this one, guys. All right, guys, that is your morning mobility routine. Give that bad boy a try. If you find that you're stiff in the morning, that stiffness continues on throughout the day. I think you'll enjoy it. If you have questions, of course, leave them in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to my YouTube channel.